So you've come here to learn to play metal guitar. Well, obviously, first thing you'll need is long hair, check, beard, check, metal t-shirt, check. You're ready to go. Scratch all that. Obviously, you'll only need a guitar, probably some cables, most likely an amp, and some plectrums. Let's go. Considering this is a beginner's guide to metal, I will be using my Marshall MG30 DFX practice amp, which is perfect when you're just starting out in the world of metal. These are the settings I like to use on my amp. I don't use too much gain from the amp initially, as I use my tubescreamer to push most of the overdrive. I also don't like to use much bass, as in metal it can make things sound too muddy. The contour knob on this amp is basically for the mid section. I scoop that back quite a bit. And finally, I like a lot of treble, as I want to be able to cut through all of that distortion without making it sound too tinny. For this video, I will be using my Boss BCB60 pedalboard, which houses my Ibanez TS9 tubescreamer, my NS2 noise suppressor, my Big Dots tuner, and the power supply. First thing, I have my Planet Waves cable plugged into the input of the pedalboard, which follows a small connection cable into the tuner, another one into the Ibanez tubescreamer, finally another one into the noise suppressor, and then all of this goes into the return of the pedalboard, which has a cable going from the output of the pedalboard and then into the input of my Marshall amp. So, first thing I want to do is check my guitar is in tune. So for the sake of this video, I will be using the tuning D standard, which is one whole step below E standard. So that's D, G, C, F, A, D. So, once we're all in tune, we can go and get ready to play some metal. So, as you can tell, my amp is currently on the clean channel. Probably don't want to use clean too much in modern metal, but that will be another video to come. So what I will do, I will change my amp to the distorted channel by pressing the channel select switch. And at the moment, I'm not using any pedals through the amp. I'm just using the amp's gain on its own. Now that we're all set up, something that I think is really important is focusing on the correct palm muting technique. In rock guitar, you may use palm muting quite a bit, but in metal, you almost use it in any song you will play. Palm muting is where you apply pressure with the side of your right hand, or left hand if you're a lefty, to the bridge part of the guitar where the pickups are. If you don't palm mute, you will have this sound. When you palm mute the exact same riff, you get this sound. There are many different ways to palm mute on a guitar, depending on where you place the side of your right hand on the bridge. Every guitar is different, so make sure you try and find your sweet spot. Something else that's really important to a metal guitar player are power chords. Power chords are kind of a stripped down version of a bar chord, and it's using the root and the fifth note of the scale of that specific chord. You can play them pretty much everywhere on the guitar, just make sure you hold them consistently so the notes don't ring out or blend into any other half notes. Now most people when playing a power chord will either use the index and the ring finger or the index and the pinky finger, like so. You place your index on the 5th fret, for example, and then your ring or your pinky finger on the 7th fret of the 2nd string just above that. Strike both strings at the same time, and you will get a power chord. also something quite important about muting the strings is with your left hand. So if you are playing an open string or the open chord, you may want to also left hand mute that chord as well as right hand mute that chord. For example, I'm using both hands here because I want a kind of chugged riff with the right hand, and then I want stops in between the riff with my left hand. If I don't use my left hand, the note will just simply ring out. When you get pretty good at just playing power chords, you may find that some power chord riffs are just too fast for you to simply downstroke. This is where you will alternate your strokes with ups and downs, and also there is such a thing as tremolo picking, which is where you go from 4th, 8th to even 16th notes at a higher speed. Here's an example. These are alternate picked riffs. These kinds of riffs will take a lot of practice with a metronome to make sure you get them clear and concise and on the beat. It's always good to start slow and work your way up with a metronome. That pretty much concludes the beginner's guide to metal. This is the first lesson in a series that I will be working on. Let me know if you want to see anything else specifically in the next video. Give me a like and a thumbs up. If you really liked it, please subscribe. It really helps. And leave me a comment down below. Then I will know exactly what you want me to do in the next video. Thanks again, guys. See you later.